Okay, in this unit we're going to start talking about circles and circles in a coordinate plane. So we're going to be putting what we know with geometry about circles to what we know about the coordinate plane. So in the first one, we want us to find the center. So to find the center, we got to look for the center of the circle, which would be here. And since this is in a coordinate plane, we can name that point with ordered pair -2 on the x-axis, +2 on the y-axis. So our center would be at the point -2, 2. Next, it wants us to find the radius. Well, the radius is how far a segment goes from the center of a circle to any point on the circle. So if we measure, we're going to measure in units. 1, 2, 3. So my radius is going to be 3 units long. Okay, on your formula sheet, you're going to have an equation of a circle, and this is the standard form for the equation of a circle. We need to know what these represent. So in the equation, parentheses y minus h, h is going to be the x-coordinate of your center. And then when it says y minus k, k is the y-coordinate of your center. Now notice, in the parentheses it is -h, but in the center it's +h. And also in the equation it's -k, but in the equation of the circle it's +k. So you got to remember to change the signs. Then it says it equals r squared. Well, r represents radius. So if we want to find the radius, we know r squared is in our equation. So to find out what the radius is, we need to eliminate the square. And to eliminate the square, you're going to take the square root. So to find your radius, you've got to take the square root of what the equation is equal to. So if we work an equation in which we're given this standard form equation of a circle, and they want us to find the center. So first, to find the center, remember in your standard form, h is the x-coordinate. So my h here would be -3. Got to remember to change the sign to +3. And my k is in the parentheses with y. So k would be 5. And I've got to change my sign. So that would be -5. So my center would be at +3, -5. Then they want us to find the radius. Well, in the equation, it says the equation is equal to r squared. So r squared would be equal to 14. So if we write r squared equals 14, to eliminate the square, we're going to need to take the square root. So we'll take the square root of both sides. So my radius is going to be equal to the square root of 14, which we could simplify that to somewhere around 3.5. So the radius of this circle would be about 3.5. Next, we also want to be able to take a standard form of equation of a circle and graph it using what we know with the equation of a circle formula. So remember that to find the center, which we need to know to graph the circle, we're going to look for the x-coordinate in the parentheses with y. So my x-coordinate is -3 because I need to change the sign. And we look for the y-coordinate of our center in the parentheses with y. So that has -1, so I'm going to change the sign. So the center of my circle is going to be at x-coordinate -3, y-coordinate 1. So that would be the center of my circle. Then to find my radius, my equation of a circle says that the equation equals radius squared. So I know that this equation equals 16. So radius squared equals 16. And to solve for the radius, I have to eliminate the square. So to eliminate the square, I take the square root. So my radius is going to equal 4. And since the radius is the distance from the center to any point on the circle, you would discount 4 units to the right and put a point, 4 units up and put a point, 4 units to the left and put a point, and 4 units down and put a point. And that would give you enough points to sketch the graph of this circle with the equation x plus 3 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 16. Then finally, what we want to end up doing tomorrow is we want to take our information about the circle and write the equation in standard form. So we want our answer to look like the formula sheet. So since our center is at 5, 2, 5 would represent h in the equation, and 2 would represent k in the equation, and 7 would represent r. So if I substitute my values into this standard form of the equation, I'm going to begin with x, change the sign of positive 5 to negative 5 squared. Then I want to add the y coordinate, so I'm going to say plus y, change the sign of 2, negative 2 squared. And then my equation says it should equal the radius squared. And I know from my information the radius is 7. So I can simplify my equation, and I would say x subtract 5 squared plus y subtract 2 squared equals 7 squared, which is the same thing as 7 times 7, so that would equal 49. So the standard equation of my circle with the center at 5, 2 and a radius of 7 would be x minus 5 squared plus y plus minus 2 squared equals 49.